Hey YouTube, it's Amber here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a more sensitive, touchy subject. It's hard for people, I feel like, to talk about bullying. It happens all the time, and most of the time people don't know it, or they do know it and just don't like to speak on it or speak about it or speak up to it. The reason that motivated me to do this video today is because I've been watching that Netflix series, The 13 Reasons Why. Watching it, I haven't finished. I'm almost complete. By the time you guys see this video, I'll probably be already finished watching it. But I'm already on episode like 10. So I'm like 3 episodes from being done with it. The series really touched me a lot because a lot of it had to do with bullying and stuff. And I've been through, obviously, bullying. I'm pretty sure everybody's been through bullying somewhat in their lifetime, but it affects people differently. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody reacts to it the same way. And I think that's what gets people confused, people mixed up, because they just think, oh, get over it. It's not big of a deal, da-da-da-da. But it is a big of a deal because words hurt. What you may say to somebody else who could take something like that may not be the same for somebody else, because you don't know what they go through in their everyday life and what they experience. But I just thought that I would share my experience with you guys, because I do believe that everybody has a story to tell. Maybe everybody's just different and everybody takes it differently, but my story, I've gone through bullying to the point where it has affected me, and even so somewhat till this day, it still somewhat rubs off on me. I mean, obviously I'm better. I don't get really bullied anymore or anything about anything. But I mean, back in like middle school, it was tough. So let's just hop into the story time. So in middle school, I would say in 6th grade, it was pretty good because I was pretty popular. I pretty much knew everybody. Me and my best friend at the time, me and her were very popular, and a lot of people knew us, so I didn't really have any issues with bullying because it's just like too many people knew us, we were too popular, so it's just like we didn't really have that issue. It wasn't until I reached about maybe 7th grade that bullying 7th and 8th grade, that bullying really started to affect me. I wasn't always the prettiest, child or girl, whatever, back then, and even now I'm not the prettiest, but I mean, back then it was just a lot worse. I wore glasses. I'm still skinny now, but I mean, I have a little bit more weight added to me, but back then I was just literally like skinny. Like, I was just so skinny. Like, I looked almost anorexic. Like, I was just so freaking skinny. And then on top of that, I didn't really know how to dress and stuff, so I was just wearing like clothes that really didn't fit me. Also, the way I grew up, a lot of people that went to my middle school were a little bit more, I'm gonna just say it, they're a little bit more hood than I was. I wouldn't really consider myself hood or ghetto or anything, but they were about fighting, they were about gangs, they were about this and that, and I wasn't really about that life. I didn't grow up like that, so I didn't really fit in with that. I was just picked on for every single thing. I was picked on for my long neck, too. That was another thing that people picked on me as well about. People picked on me so much to the point where I just felt hopeless. I didn't feel like I had really any friends, real friends. I felt like the friends that I did have, I wouldn't even consider them friends that I had back then. They weren't even defending me or helping me out. If anything, they were out to get me as well, too. It just sucks feeling to that point where you feel so to yourself and so bullied and so, like, you can't even feel like you can't even talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk to my parents about it. I didn't want to talk to a counselor or anything about it. I was just, I wanted to just stay to myself. I don't know, maybe just act like it didn't exist, even though I know it did. Really hard even now talking about it, because I know those feelings, that how I felt then. It's really hard. It's even, like I said, it's hard doing this video. I'm almost like tearing up doing this video because it's a really touchy type of subject. I mean, I've been bullied to the point where, like I said, I've almost wanted to really kill myself because I just could not take it anymore. I could not take people just picking on me, going to school every single day and have the same people pick and bully me to the point I just, like I said, I do not want to be there at all. I hated it. I hated being in middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I hated. Those were the worst years of my life. I would cry all the freaking time. All the time. And nobody really knew I was really going through this because, like I said, I would just come in my room and I'd just be to myself. And like I said, it was really, really rough time for me. And kids can just be so vicious and so hard. It's not right. Why pick on somebody for how they look or what they do because they're not the same as you? Who are you to judge anybody? You're not God. You are no one to judge anybody. I wish it didn't affect me back then so much, but it just really did. You're somebody's telling you something every single day, you start to believe it. So at the time, I started to believe and start to feel like people were calling me ugly, a giraffe and a dinosaur and all this stuff. I'm like, well, damn, maybe I really am ugly and I'm not pretty. I felt very insecure about myself, about my weight, how I looked, how I talked, how I acted, just everything about me. So I was literally, I felt like I was almost like the lowest point in my life. And like I said, I've had suicidal thoughts. I've had thoughts about, killing myself and just doing anything to get away from this. And like, maybe if I do this, I won't have to deal with this anymore. And on top of that, maybe they'll feel bad. Just at least to bring some awareness to this or something. Now bullying is a lot more talked about. Back then, it wasn't talked about a lot, honestly. A lot of people knew it was going on, but it wasn't until maybe like I was already in high school when I started hearing about people killing themselves over being bullied. And nobody should ever get to that point where they want to feel like they have to kill themselves because they're bullied that bad. Because nobody deserves that. Horrible. It's a very horrible thing. And I'm just glad I was able to get through it. I know not everybody likes to always speak out and stuff, but do have some tips for people who do get bullied or have been bullied or anything. Just some stuff that helped me get through the bullying and stuff when I was going through it. The first tip I say is to tell a trusted adult. I know a lot of people think that's so cliche. I don't want anybody knowing what's going on. I don't want them involved in it. But you should tell a trusted adult. You should tell your parents if you're getting bullied. You should tell a counselor or a principal, whoever, somebody. Let them know you're getting bullied. Because if you don't tell nobody, how is anybody going to know? How is anyone going to be able to help you out and stop it and try to even stop it? Maybe tell somebody, let somebody know if you're getting bullied, or you even see somebody getting bullied. You're just as bad as the bully if you see somebody getting bullied and you don't speak up about it. You're just as bad. I don't care. It's not right. It's just not right. And never in any type of circumstances, bullying, watching somebody getting bullied is right. Second tip I have is to find an outlet to let your emotions out. This could be through writing or poetry. This could be through telling a best friend, listening to music. I know back then what I would do, I would usually write poetry. That's why I'm very much into poetry. Expressing my thoughts through paper. And now that, phones and cameras and stuff took over, I feel like now more so I can express myself to a camera, and that's why it does feel good to be able to do YouTube and stuff like that, because I like to be in camera. I like to hear my thoughts. I like to write down my thoughts too. Just have some type of outlet that you could do, whether it's like at least to listen to some type of songs that make you feel better, make you feel happy. There's always something that, a hobby or something that you can do to just help take your mind off of that. My third tip is that you do glow and grow up. A lot of people in middle or high school, whatever, they think, oh, that's how I am now, and this is how I'm going to be my whole life, and That's not how you're going to be your whole life. I looked way different than I did back then than I do now. You don't stay that way forever. Everybody, every day is growing and changing, and and before you know it, you look good. Everybody has that stage and you look and you feel good. You can't just dwell on it right now. Maybe you haven't reached that stage potentially yet. You have there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growing. Everybody is meant to change. Everybody is meant to grow and develop into who you're supposed to develop into. If they make fun of you right now, just know that it's not going to be like that forever. Because now I can say a lot of the people who did bully me back in middle school, the guys especially, are the ones that are up in my Facebook DMs and Instagram DMs trying to hit me up and trying to talk to me now, talking about hey beautiful and this and that. I don't care if this happened like almost 10 years ago. I'm not with it. I shouldn't hold a grudge. I shouldn't. Nobody should hold a grudge. But I must say, it does feel good. Look, weren't you the same one who bullied me? Now you up in my inbox? Like, who got the juice now? Just remember, you're not in middle school or high school your whole life. So you won't have to deal with that forever. Another thing is, it's better to be alone or have a few friends than to be with fake friends. And I say this because, and it relates to bullying, because I noticed that the fake friends that I did have back then were a part of the problem, part of the bullying, and seeing the bullying happen and didn't speak up on it, didn't try to help me out in any sense, form, or way. They just laughed about it too, or, you know, would say shut, or just, if anything, probably go along with them and start picking on me as well, like it was nothing. And I should have known back then, like, if this is happening, maybe I need to remove myself from the situation. But I didn't. I was just so eager and so hopeful to try and have friends that I would do anything to just have friends or somebody, people by my side, because I just did not want to be alone. I just did not want to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone in middle school or high school. Everybody wants friends that they can, you know, a clique or something that they can connect with or something, and I was just too scared to be alone. Nowadays, I can count all my friends on one hand. Like, literally, like, I don't care about not having a lot of friends. I'd rather have a couple of real friends than a whole bunch of fake friends. Okay, 2 more tips and I promise I'm done. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's something you gotta remember too. A lot of times we get stuck on what people say and think and feel about us, but you gotta remember that everybody is different. Not everybody thinks that you are ugly or think that you're a bad person or think you ain't this or that enough. Not everybody thinks that. There is a whole bunch of other people who, if they met you, would think you're cool, you're pretty, you're beautiful, and you're a person that they want to be around all the time. Not everybody's the same. Like I said, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure or whatever. That can go for any kind of thing, you know, because what somebody may not think is cool or cute or anything, another person may love everything about it. Just think, you know, because of those couple people that they think of you, let you think of that of yourself, because there's a whole bunch of other people who are more than willing, you know, more than happy to be around you, you know, and to have that love for you. My last tip is to stay strong and remember that suicide is not the answer. There's suicide hotlines that you need to call if you ever really do feel that low in your point in your life. I hope you guys would never feel that low or have to feel that low to have to call that. Suicide's not the answer. It just hurts your parents, it hurts the people you care, or people who do care about you in your life, your family or your friends or whoever is around you that do love you and support you and care for you. It just does not help. You have a future. You have a whole life ahead of you. Don't let this moment in time affect that. You have a whole life to live. The point in life is to be able to grow through whatever difficult times you have in your life. And that's why I have another reason why I have my tattoo. I talk about that in my tattoo video. But it's true, because no matter what I go through, I will still continue to rise and be above it. And I believe that anybody that was in my situation, or is in my old situation, should I say, just please have faith, pray. God has given us all a blessing, and we should all be able to appreciate that blessing. And that number one blessing is life, because there's so many people who get life cut short from them so soon, so quick, that would have wanted to live a full life and they couldn't. And You know, my hearts go out to anybody who's been through bullying or has committed suicide. Like I said, watching 13 Reasons Why really affected me a lot, and just made me go back to the times, made me think about the times that I went through that. I also suggest everybody watches that series too. I know a lot of people say that if you're easily triggered that you shouldn't watch it because it does have rape and suicide scenes, but everybody needs to hear it and needs to see it and needs to talk about it so you can see the effect of what bullying does to somebody. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was more of a serious video. Sorry if it wasn't so, like, you know, laughy and all that stuff like I normally am. But it's, like I said, it's a really touchy subject. Make sure you guys subscribe to me, like, comment, all that stuff down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.